Welcome back to the Meeple Marathon and our continued playthroughs of Shame Week here. This is after the Empire, which really the only reason that it was still sitting on my shelf unplayed is that it technically is a multiplayer game currently without any true solo rules. I checked early on, there wasn't any, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't easily discover one on BGG. But knowing that the Kickstarter, the most recent Kickstarter, where they're doing a second edition of this and coming out with, replacements for all the cubes and stuff, will include a solo mode. So I actually picked up the game after they announced the Kickstarter. I had the opportunity to pick it up in a trade. I thought, sure, this game does look interesting with the solo mode coming out, and I really just had not had the opportunity to play it with other people. COVID doesn't help and things like that. So, but we are simply just going to play one hand. I thought about playing two-handed, but honestly, I just want to kind of learn, make sure I'm understanding the rules correctly. So I'm just going to kind of play through here, and we are going to give ourselves a goal of being able to hit the 50-point mark. That's just kind of our goal. I don't honestly know if that's really a a good score or not. So we're just going to aim for that. We're going to have some fun, which honestly you could do with any game. Really, you could sit down and just play through it, unless it's a game like checkers or chess or something like that, where you have to have an opposing side. I guess two-player opposing games, but this one really doesn't have a lot of player interaction except for people stealing your spaces. So I'm going to go ahead and continue setting up the board here, and then we're just going to play through this one solo, and I'll come back and give you my thoughts. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, well, that's going to do it for After the Empire, purely solo. It was interesting. First of all, being able to just pick wherever I wanted to go did not keep me from being sacked 3 times. And so it was constantly being pushed backwards. I basically finished the game, pushed back here, and then jumped around to 26. So like 26 base points, which from the few playthroughs I've seen, is pretty sorry. But then I counted up my, additional bonus points I got to, and then I was somewhere around here. And I have a ton of these secret objective cards, which, because I did a lot of scouting, I had a, refugee who helped me out with that, the Blackmore trader. And this is really the only thing that keeps you from, really being able to score points, because most of them are all of this most certain cards, like with this symbol on it, or most cards with this symbol on it. I had that one, or most stone in your stockpile. So I said, as I started to see these cards, I said, all right, I'm going to have 5 in my stockpile. And so I was able to score for granary and stone, but then I have to have at least 3 cards to have the most. That might have been a little ambitious, because I really had like one of everything, really, when I go back here and look at it. But I was not able to get most unique because I did not have a healing card, even though both of these two offered a little healing. Anyways, came up pretty short. I was like somewhere around 42. So it came up short of my 50 goal. Definitely, if you could figure out how to make these, make some kind of rules for these, or even create some different secret objective cards, or just make them objective cards, because obviously they're not secret, then the game works, because there's so few workers in your pool and so many things you want to do on your turn. You want to rebuild your walls and hire more mercenaries and soldiers and recruit refugees and build buildings, and obviously you cannot do it all. So even just the pure fact that the board is so tight, really, or your actions that you can take are so tight, really just give you a challenge from the very beginning. So this is a very unique game. It's got this like tower defense feel to it. You're trying to do your best to create your most sturdy structure with your soldiers and everything, but then there's a lot of question as to what's coming at you, and you can be completely unprepared for it. And so you can see, even in a solo game, I got sacked 3 times, finished the game being sacked. So it's definitely like nothing else I have in my collection personally. It feels a little bit like Castle Panic, but obviously on steroids. But simply the fact that like things are hitting the wall, and then the next turn they'll go in and things like that. It reminded me, the whole combat aspect of it definitely reminded me of Castle Panic in that way. Castle Panic's obviously a much simpler family game that I do highly recommend for tower defense, but this one's got a little bit of those elements to it, but definitely on a much higher scale. So setup was kind of a pain because there's so many things going on here, but I think if you purchase the larger box with the game trays, that'll help because you can just pop them open, set them off to the side. But yeah, other than that, the only thing I did not like is that the wall pieces really did not fit into these holes very well. I appreciate that the holes are there so everything locks in place and doesn't get scooted around on you, but I really struggled, and you're not going to be able to really see that in the video because it's recording at hyperspeed, but I really struggled to keep getting the walls back in and out of here. So I don't know if the neoprene mats that were part of the second Kickstarter would help that. Currently, I felt like that was something that was completely unnecessary, but might have to go back and look at those. So either way, I do recommend this one. This one's definitely staying in my collection until all of the upgraded features make it my way. So, and then we'll we'll certainly be playing it on the channel solo then. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, and hopefully tomorrow we can knock out our final 2 games left on my pile of shame. That would be Scythe and Folklore of the Affliction. I know both games that are really high on a lot of people's list. Scythe I have played before, I just have never played my copy before, so that may be the big grand finale, is playing Scythe. Alright, that's it for day 6 of Shame Week. Thanks for sticking with me, guys. We've got one more video to go. Have a great night.